Grand Rising family, how's everyone doing? I know I was MIA yesterday on the other page. It was a lot of stuff going on. If we went through a portal, it is an understatement what was going on. It was in positive vibes. Then all of a sudden it changed. Kid's father. Let's just say I got to be on my P's and Q's now. But getting back to the task at hand, because the mission still is going to continue on. So yesterday we went over the tactic of empire versus the path to liberation. The first part, what we was going over with was the tactics of the empire, and pretty much what we did was that we broke down the different aspects of the empire, the hierarchy, and so forth. And so this time what we're going to do is we're going to break down the second half of it, which is, let me just go on. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay. Let me just get to it. I'm going right past it. I'm not even paying attention. And see, that's what happens when you get those negative forces on the outside. They tend to disrupt your flow. Every time you try to be in the peaceful mindset, you always get tested. You always get tested. Okay. So yes. So the first part we went through was the empire, which equaled the control, hierarchy, and suppression. This part, what we're going to do is we're going to go into the divine order, which is the freedom, circle, and balance. Okay? And this part is going to give you more like a little in-depth detail of what that's about. So, let's begin. The path of divine order, freedom, circle, balance. If empire is built on control, then divine order is built on flow. Freedom, number one. True freedom is not chaos. It's harmony without chains. Freedom means no one owns your body, your soul, or your path to source. 3. In divine order, spirit whispers directly to you. No middleman, no priesthood gate. Number 2. The circle. The circle is older than the pyramid. In the circle, all voices are heard: elder, child, mother, father, seer, healer. There is no above and below, only around and within. Indigenous councils, kitchen tables, women's moon lodges. These were circle spaces before empire broke them apart. Number 3 is the balance. Masculine and feminine, sky and earth, sun and moon. In divine order, the feminine flame doesn't compete with the masculine, it grounds it. The masculine builds the fire, the feminine tends it so it doesn't consume. Together they sustain life. Now, how to see empire still moving today. In systems, schools teach obedience, now wisdom. Jobs demand your hours, but not your soul's gift. Money is made scarce on purpose. In religion, the divine mother erased. Sophia's wisdom replaced with blind dogma. And priests are elevated. Women are silenced. In culture, hyper-individualism, me over we. Hustle culture, body treated like a machine, not a temple. And the media, constant fear to keep you small. Now, how the feminine flame dismantles it. Wisdom, which is Sophia, she reminds you truth lives inside, not in empire's textbooks. Womb power, Asherah, she roots you back to Earth's cycle, outside of man's clock. Love, Magdalene, She heals hierarchy by teaching intimacy care and shared leadership. The feminine flame dismantles empire not by fighting its game, but by refusing to play. When you choose circle, balance, and freedom in your home, your body, your rituals, empire loses its grip. Now here's the practice for the collective. Every time you see a pyramid system, boss above worker, priest above believer, man above woman, pause and ask, how can I bring this into circle? Let your child speak at the table. Ask your body what it needs instead of forcing it to grind. Share wisdom freely without gatekeeping. And this is the final note of this section. Divine order ain't something you wait for. It's something you practice daily. The moment you choose circle over pyramid, balance over domination, you're already dismantling the empire. So that is the end of that section, which talks about the divine order and what's the difference between how empire is structured and how divine order is. In divine order, of course, as you know, the feminine is always recognized. It's always acknowledged, always respected in every type of way. And in this particular realm, they do not want to do that. They do not want to honor the woman's voice. And it's very apparent in everyday life. So what I wanted to do with this, I wanted to kind of extended it a little bit. We're going to go into tomorrow, and we're going to be talking about the teaching transition as from empire to liberation, where we talk about the empire and the divine order, and get a little bit into more of the feminine flame as a liberator once we transition to. Okay? You can tell things wrapping up because, like I said, I always say the temperature's rising. The energies in the air is real shifty. So mind your peace, mind your consciousness. Go with your not only your intuition, but go with your discernment. And if something feels questionable, then it usually is. So, as I always say to the family, spiritual team, collective, Supreme Rising, I speak truth, and I say.